Agent Stone in this series. He's presented as a bad guy, but the more that you watch, it feels like maybe he's a product of his environment. I feel like you learn very early on that not everything is what it seems in the show. How did you approach this role, knowing that there's a lot of shades of gray in Agent Stone?
Um, I mean, reading the first three scripts and then having really great conversations with Michael Jonathan Smith, who was our showrunner, um, and then doing my own research and going in and trying to find out as much about the origin of the game as I could, and seeing various iterations of Agent Stone, but the other characters and other storylines and stuff that wasn't represented in the scripts that we did, but just to kind of get a broader sense of what the essence of the show was. I mean, what the game was, and how that was translatable to the show. And then with Agent Stone specifically, I felt I really liked the fact that they introduced him as a younger man who has integrity, has the rule of law as his guiding light. And then, the apocalypse crashes in, and he is completely thrust into a world that he's not trained or equipped to handle, and is quickly taken advantage of, by these sort of like the savage nature of society right away. And then when you meet him 20 years later, no, he's not a villain. And I never, ever approached him as a villain, nor did Michael and I ever discuss him as a villain. He just sees himself as the hammer of justice, the hammer of law and order,
Mm-hmm.
and that it is entirely up to him to be the architect of bringing the divided states back together, punishing those that deserve it and rewarding those that don't commit crime. And that's his center line.
I don't know if you'll agree, but it kind of feels similar to Flint Marko, Sandman, and Spider-Man 3, where this event happened in his life, and
I mean,
the guy you meet in the present is, just reacting to that event.
well, it's funny that you say that. I don't think it's an accident that, they thought of me, because No Way Home was still in theaters when this was being cast.
Mm-hmm.
Same studio, it's the same studio. And I have a feeling that, maybe somebody was like, whoa, what about Thomas for Agent Stone, but I don't, I appreciate that comparison, because I'm very proud of Flint Marko and his integrity, as a father, and Agent Stone, he really is kind of this self-made father of justice or law and order,
Mm-hmm.
the destroyer of mayhem. So that's an interesting comparison. Nobody else has said that.
I work for WrestleZone. I cover Samoa Joe a lot for
Right.
his in-ring work.
He's a
What was it
great
like?
guy.
Very charismatic guy,
Yeah, great guy.
intimidating, and he kind of got to show some of that as Sweet Tooth in the show.
Yeah.
What was your experience working with him on the show?
Well, I mean, obviously we are nemesis, and to the extent that he attacks my truck and bashes in the windshield, and I won't go beyond that point in the story, but Joe, first of all, really gifted guy physically for as big of a dude as he is. I don't know where he ranks in the world of wrestling. I don't follow it too much. I'm kind of acquainted with Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
We have friends in common, and I was on a radio show with Chris a couple of times on Sirius XM, but but just super nice guy. Had fun talking to him whenever I got a chance to talk to him. We actually have one of our but we do share an agent at our agency. So, but no, I was really happy that they got Joe. Yeah, because I think he's the perfect sweet tooth,
Yeah,
along with with Will's voice. But for Joe to be the physical manifestation was fun.
yeah, it was really fun to watch him. Thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Bill.